What's happening, Pod Squad? Welcome in to an episode of Striper Like It's Hot. I don't even know which camera to look at. Do I look at this one?
I'd look at that one.
Oh, probably. That one's on me.
Yeah.
This is a very complicated setup. What's good, people? This will be probably the funniest, weirdest episode. If you're listening on podcast, you should probably go to YouTube
Yes.
because the YouTube, it's going to smack.
We got angles.
We got angles. Angles in all the right places. What?
That's a good way to start.
Okay, I should get to the point. Otherwise, we lose people and they won't listen. So I'm Cam, and this is...
Matt
is here. So what inspired this episode about marketing and content creation and, $10,000 camera setups and all that good stuff we're going to get into is kind of twofold. I warned you I was going to be self-deprecating.
All right.
So reason number one for this episode is we've had some good content out lately
We've had quite a lot. Yeah.
because you're here.
Yes.
So I enjoy content creation. However, time is the mortal enemy. Trying to run the business. Time's the enemy. And I'm just not that good at it, frankly. So ever since you've been here in the company since June, we have been way more consistent.
A lot more consistent.
And the times that we haven't been consistent have been because
We didn't film.
we didn't film. So yeah, last week I was away at PAVEX, which was awesome. You guys need to get to PAVEX next year. But that's always been a struggle for me personally, is having enough content in the chamber, as they say. Or I don't know what they say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
In the chamber. Yeah, I've always sucked at that. Literally since day one of the podcast, 2021, I've never batched content because I'm a procrastinator.
As am I.
Yeah, but you take this way more seriously because this is literally your job.
This is everything I
So,
do. Yeah.
You saying that just is oh, I don't believe you. So anyways, this is my long-winded way of saying, yeah, normally the podcast episode will come out Wednesday in a perfect world. Matt's got it all done up in advance,
Yeah.
which on
Hopefully.
average is 2 days now.
Yeah.
But no, we eventually we will have it. I keep telling you that. We will have it to the point where we have the 2, 3, 4 episodes baked, ready to go, all edited. But this week we didn't have anything.
Right.
Zip.
No guests.
Zilch. Nothing. Because I was away last week and I am terribly, terribly behind on some things. So that was what really inspired this episode. But the second inspiration is, I told you this before, but when I was at PAVEX, it's crazy how many people came up and they didn't say good job to me. I mean, some people did, but what they really were saying was the content is so good. The quality is good. They've seen the increase from day one, me with my Amazon mic.
Right.
We didn't have this fancy setup with all these cameras and cool lights and stuff. And they've seen this slow ascension that's really ascended a lot quicker since you showed up.
Right.
And people are like, that's awesome. So we're going to talk about that today.
I'm here for it.
In addition to marketing and striping and all that good stuff.
Right.
So the best part I think about what this episode is going to be is we have no plan.
No.
You have no notes.
I
I have no notes. So we're just going to jam. So take it away, Matt.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so let's do backstory on you first.
Okay.
You are the reason why the quality has gone up because you have you guys can't see the cameras, but there's some nice equipment here that Matt owns. This is nice stuff.
Thank you.
When did you get into this and why?
I got into it about roughly 2020 is when I started taking it more seriously. I got my first camera in 2019.
Yeah.
I took a few pictures, maybe a couple hundred that year, nothing crazy. 2020, I wanted to start a clothing company.
Right.
I had an idea for that. And right now it's still on the back burner. I still want to do it eventually when I have more time.
You will.
But I wanted to have full creative control behind the brand. And so I started to teach myself how to draw and paint and graphic design and photography. Then I got into videography more so around 2022. I think I made one video in 2021 and I didn't do it as much, but I spent a lot of time taking photos. I probably took 30 or 40,000 in 2020. Same thing with 2021 and 2022. So I kind of just been growing that until the point we're at now.
You know what's crazy about that though? So you started the COVID year, basically. You started taking it seriously. So
Yeah.
you were, there's a couple crazy things here. Number one, you were self-taught,
Yes.
which is insane because it's very high quality stuff. Actually, the thing you put on TikTok the other day of your first video on our channel.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I'm not one to be on this side of the camera.
Yeah.
This is weird for me.
No, you're doing good. Yeah. So that video alone, it looks like extremely professional YouTube or short form content piece. So like you've dialed it in so fast. That's impressive. But where were you working in 2020? Because were you were you drilling?
No, I was drilling last year, 2020. I think I was working at a liquor store at that time.
Liquor store?
Yeah.
So you learned this skill while working part-time?
No, full time.
You were working full-time. So you graduate school,
Yeah.
working full-time, liquor store. And then you went drilling, which
Yeah.
is like, drilling's intense. How many hours a week?
It really depends on the week.
Like you're traveling away from
Yeah,
drilling,
I could have
right?
been working 75, 80 hours in the week. I could have been working 40, 45, but
So if you were away, like you could be away from home for weeks at a time.
yeah.
So you're working these full-time jobs that have nothing to do with marketing,
Nothing.
video,
Yeah.
content, graphics, all the stuff you just said.
Right.
Where do you find the time to learn this? Like,
Every hour that I'm not working. And even when I'm with friends, I was still out taking photos. Like if we're rock climbing, we're dirt biking, we're camping, I'm taking the camera everywhere. So I've always been doing it. And then now since I started here, like 6 months ago,
June, I think?
something like that.
7
I'm
months.
literally doing it 7 days a week, where before I could do it like a couple hours after work, maybe. Like it depends how tired I am, I guess. But
Yeah, because you go home after editing here and doing stuff for Laser and Stripe It.
yeah.
Then you go home and do editing. And
Yeah, I take like a good hour and a bit for myself because I
Solid.
need to stop working for a little bit. But
Solid hour.
yeah,
No, that's impressive because, like, this, you've heard me say this enough by this point, but like so many people that listen to the podcast are striping business owners and they see other cool content and they're like, man, I wish I could do that.
right.
But they don't have the capability of bringing somebody on full time, or they don't even have the time to like learn high
all
level
of it.
skills themselves.
Mhm.
So I think it's important people know that about you. Like you self-taught yourself while working full time how to do this.
Yeah,
Is it easy? Is it hard?
a bit of both, I guess.
Depends on what it is.
I mean, now it's more so easy because this is the only thing I could see myself doing. This is the only thing I want to do.
That's cool.
And so being able to have a chance to do photography, videography, editing, graphic design, making flyers, logos, whatever it is for you guys, it's still crazy to me that I get to do this for a job every day.
Yeah, because before you came on with us, you were forklift, right? Driving around forklifts for
Yeah.
Pepsi.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with content. And like,
No. Besides the liquor store, like every job I've had before this was like drilling, forklift. I started in high school with my electrical apprenticeship,
yeah,
and I went on that for about like a year and a half, and then just realized I gotta figure something else out that I want to do. And that's when we had a month and a half break one summer working electrical.
Yeah.
There just wasn't any work. And so that's when I started the clothing company, or at least the idea for it.
Yeah.
And that's when I really started to teach myself all this.
yeah, good for you. That's awesome. And like, yeah, I'm grateful because now like you're on board with Laser, the striping company, we
Yeah.
have, or the pavement company we have, sorry, and Stripe It and the podcast, man. So I'm not going to shout out any specific names, but yeah, the amount of people that came up, like I said, and just were like, the content is so good. That's you, man. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So you knew nothing about pavement or striping before,
Not really, no.
but now I feel like, even though you're not on the machines, you've been doing enough job sites, seen snow removal, you kind of get how it works now.
Yeah, enough, especially with copywriting for you guys too. I get to understand a lot more when I'm trying to come up with a description or a flyer or a brochure.
100%.
A lot of research.
Yeah. So let's bring it back to like 2020 when, you're just learning this, and imagine yourself as a business owner.
Okay.
Literally 8 seconds before we hit record, that guy messaged us on Stripe It on
Right,
Facebook.
yeah.
And what was his question? I should look
He
it up.
wanted something to do with.
He's gonna
knowing how
watch
to
this.
market.
He's gonna watch this episode. And he's gonna be like, "They're talking about me."
I wanted to know if you offer marketing or advertising services.
Unreal. No one. I don't think anyone has ever asked that. Well,
No.
no, there's no way
No.
because they weren't doing it before you showed up. So somebody messaged the podcast and it was like, "Do you guys offer? You guys or you? Do you offer marketing?" Like, the answer is no.
No.
However, you could.
I could, yeah.
You could like remote work and to help him. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. But anyways, that just goes to show you that like people in this industry who start striping or, seal coating, whatever, like they see other companies, who are setting the bar. And I'm not going to say Laser's doing that, but companies that have a high quality content approach and value marketing, and they want to put that stuff out.
Right.
Small companies see that and they go, I would love to do that. So going back in your time machine back to 2020,
Yeah.
how did you learn this while working a full-time job? Because a lot of people who want to elevate their striping marketing basically have a full-time job. So how did you find the time for this?
Because it's all I wanted. If you want something bad enough and you're willing to find time to make time, whether I worked a 16-hour day, I would go home and edit for 2-3 hours still.
Huh.
And so I just wanted it bad enough to get to the point where I'm at now. And even like the last 5 months since I've been doing it every day,
Yeah.
I've had a lot more growth now in this last 5 months than I've had from 2020 to 2022. But
So what specifically did you do? Was this like, excuse me, you went to like YouTube? You didn't pay for any courses, right?
no courses. I was about to actually before I started this job. I was going to go down south for film school.
I think you told me that, but I forgot.
Yeah, and then I got this job. I was like, well, I'm doing it every day. I might as well just figure it out while I'm at it.
You don't need no school. Get out of here.
No.
Just go find a payment company. That's
Exactly. Just go make content for them.
man alive. So it is possible. No, I'm going to be like devil's advocate to you. Like you said, you wanted it bad enough. I would be willing to bet that most people who are watching this of striping companies, they want it, but not as bad as you wanted it, because they're running the business. They're
Yeah.
probably out striping themselves.
Right.
So what would you recommend for somebody who's like, I want to up my content game? Tell you what, you give your approach for like the actual how to do it side, and I'll talk about the business side. If you were you running a striping business, what tactical things would you do to up your game?
If you're starting from scratch, the best thing you could do is just start.
That's true.
No matter, like, you do it for a year, and say you have a goal, you want to do 2 or 3 videos a year, or a week, sorry, for that year.
Yeah.
Just do it. And by the end of the year, you're going to be a lot better at those videos than when you started. The best tip I can give is just to start.
So I remember starting, and it's
Right.
painful.
It's a rough process.
See, you started too.
Yeah.
But we're like, when the business side, when you want to match, or like you see a company that you're like, man, I would love to have content like that, but you know that you don't have the skills to do that. It is really hard because you know that your first content is gonna
Right.
suck.
Right.
Right. That's such a good point. Like I even held back a lot of things. Like I was supposed to start the podcast months before I actually did, because I was like, I just don't know how to do it,
Right.
and it's probably gonna suck. And I feel like the first one I did probably sucked. Well, there was no video, so it was just me yammering.
Right. Just talking. Yeah.
That's a good point, though. Yeah, you really just got to start. Any specific places online, like YouTube, like any channels you followed where you're like,
Not really. I kind of followed everybody and
went
anybody,
all in.
whatever I needed, just because I was doing so many different things. Like
yeah,
photography is a lot different than videography is.
Yeah.
That's a lot different than graphic design. So I was learning all 3 of those things at once,
totally,
and so I was trying to figure out a lot at the same time.
totally.
But any information, like I'm a big advocate for YouTube University. That's where I learned how to do all of this. So
Totally. Equipment wise, like, is the phone good enough?
nowadays, honestly, yeah,
Yeah, Samsung,
especially
Samsung or iPhone.
iPhone.
You're
iPhone.
big. Yeah, I know you're missing that.
Nowadays, like, especially if it's just you,
Yeah.
you don't want to go out and buy a bunch of camera gear or
Yeah.
all this fancy stuff, and you're not actually wanting to get into video production.
Yeah,
The phone is good enough.
yeah,
The phone's definitely, especially just striping. You just want just selfie videos or whatever you're doing in a parking lot.
yeah.
Like,
It's not good enough for you,
no,
but for the average striping business owner.
absolutely.
Yeah, I told you I was going to record a solo podcast this week with the GoPro, and you
Yeah.
like, I saw the look on your face.
Well, yeah, because I'm here.
Because you're here.
I'm
yeah.
here. I'm
Don't
here.
do
We got a
that.
camera.
We got like
we
three,
might as well.
3 cameras go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, I'm just going to derail for a second there.
Yeah, but
Something that I don't even know who I'm talking to at this point. Now I'm going to talk to them if that's okay.
give it.
Something that I promote heavily if you're just starting out with, content and video, and you're on a job site and you know that you're supposed to take video, but you don't really know what to do. One thing that I started doing that was taught to me in 2020 was every time I was on a job site, my coach told me put out video. And I was reluctant because I'm like, what am I going to say? I don't want to be on the camera, but like I'm supposed to be on the camera because people like that. They want to see a face to the business. And I struggled on job sites. I'm like, what the heck do I talk about? I just striped another parking lot.
Right.
And the one thing he taught me, I'm switching back to them. One thing he taught me was every single job that you do, you solve somebody's problem. And it's totally true. Like, Every job is different. Just because you striped a parking lot one night, it's, a grocery store, and the next night you stripe a different grocery store, you have solved somebody's problem in a different way. So the thing he taught me was ask yourself, what's the biggest problem that I solved on this job? And sometimes it's like customer needed it done super duper fast. Like you solve somebody's problem.
Right.
Or they had somebody stripe it 3 years ago and the lines look like bananas, right? You solve that problem. And he said, take whatever problem you solved. When the moment your job is done, ask yourself, what's the biggest problem I solved? Turn the camera around on your phone, shoot yourself in a video, and like 20, 30 seconds. Here's the biggest problem we solved for this customer today. I think that was a killer thing he taught me.
Yeah. No,
so much so that I've taught people that I work with that same thing.
Right.
I told one guy, he's going to listen to this and laugh. I think he actually did it. I hope he did. You know who you are if you're listening. I said, when you close up your job trailer and the ramp goes up, I told him, like, take a Sharpie and write on the trailer where your padlock goes, what problem did I solve? And that will be like the mental trigger for him. Every time he's done a job, I got to put out video. I'm going to shoot a video. What's the biggest problem I solved?
That's good advice.
Thanks, man. I wish I could take credit for it, but that's what was taught to me. Cool. All right. What other marketing tips you got? People want to put out cool content for their striping businesses, seal coating businesses. What would you do?
The biggest thing that I found is a lack of variety.
Oh gosh.
Going
Thank you for mentioning that.
Going through all these other companies that do the same thing that we do, just looking at some of their videos, I'll come across them. So I go look at their page, and it's the same video replicated 80 times down the front of their page. And that's great if that's all you do, but as a company, you're going to want to show more of who you are, the values behind the company, who works for the company, kind of stuff like that. And so variety is huge, no matter what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. Yeah. I always tell people that too. After the 50th picture, we know what you do.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you might
Like
take
how many photos of a parking lot in the same way can you take? Like, oh, this one's daytime, this one's nighttime.
What, do you want to see
That's
my phone?
great.
I could show you. How many.
I bet you have lots.
It's way too many. I cleared them out. Yeah. No, it's so true. What else you got? That was a great one. I was going to totally skip over that one. What else do you see when you look at other people's content where you're like, you could just do that one thing better and it would be so much improved? What would it be?
What would it be? That's a good question.
I know what I'd think. If you got nothing,
What do you think?
I kind of already mentioned it, but it's so underrated. Like even for you, because like you got your own Instagram channel, which we'll plug, obviously, Matt Leslie Productions, and you do weddings now, and you're like
A little bit of everything, yeah.
Yeah, you work your face off, you crazy guy. People buy people.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, the work Matt Leslie Productions does and the content that Laser Pavement Solution puts out and the videos that Stripe have put out are great. But ultimately, people buy people. Like, how many people in our city, Prince George, do what you do?
Good handful now. I mean,
a decent amount.
They kind of fall into their own niche.
That's true.
Like you have wedding photographers, you have people that are gonna do like boudoir. How do you say that word?
Wow, we're going fancy? Boudoir?
Boudoir?
Wow.
Yeah, like those type of photos. You got people.
I'm impressed you even know what. While you're in photography.
Yeah, people that are doing like.
Can you explain
just
what that is
commercials.
for people?
No,
What is
I'm not
boudoir?
gonna go through it. You can look it up on your own time.
Yeah, Google it on your own.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's people kind of in their own niches throughout their own town. There's maybe, I want to say 40.
That's a decent amount for our size city.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my point. Is like
Ish.
people have options, right? Like if you want
Definitely.
wedding photos and you Google Prince George, British Columbia wedding photos, you're gonna find 40 people.
Absolutely.
Some from big to small. The thing that really differentiates when people buy services, so in your case, photography, videography, or in a pavement company's case, striping or seal coating,
Right.
people want to buy from people that they know, like, and trust. So that's my long-winded way of saying my go-to tip is if you're the business owner of a small company, like even if it's a larger company, put your face out there. Turn the camera around, stop taking photos
Absolutely.
of the parking lot, show people who you are. Like we take that pretty seriously at Laser. That's why we created the Meet the Team page on our website.
Right, yeah.
So you actually have people's photos and the write-up of who they are. I didn't like doing this, but when we redid the website, that's something our website builder, Lewis, told me. He's like, we have to put a photo of you with the history of the company. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, not comfortable always having my photo out there. But it shows people, okay, this Laser, back then it was Laser line painting. This company has a person who started this, and it's a real person, and this is what his face looks like.
Right.
That
People need to
matters.
connect it.
100%. That's my
Yeah.
go-to thing. Yeah, you gotta market yourself, I think, before you start marketing a company. Because if people want to do
Absolutely.
business that they trust, there's no way they can do that unless you put your face out there.
No, definitely. That's one thing I don't really do for my production company, actually.
But it's so
You're
new.
not in me.
Yeah.
You're not seeing me whatsoever. You're just seeing the work I do. But
Yeah.
I also, I'm pretty picky with the jobs I do nowadays.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing this full time for you guys Monday to Friday. And so now that kind of gives me more flexibility because it was all just about getting better
Yeah.
at a certain point. It still is. But at least now the jobs that I do on the weekends or after work Monday to Friday, I'm definitely a lot more selective with what I choose.
Totally. Well, I kind of don't want you to put your face out there for your production because then you'll just leave us faster. So, like, just to cool your jets, man.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Give us your thoughts because I know you are really honed in on all things content, but like
Right.
the short form versus the long form. And one thing that I never did, even with, the podcast or the pavement company, I never really tracked the data, the analytics, even though
Right.
like YouTube and Instagram make it so easy. You can go on your phone. and
Oh,
look at the
anybody
numbers.
can see that. Yeah.
But you're really dialed in with that is like what works, what doesn't. Give us your thoughts on like what metrics people should be looking at. I'm going to say mostly Instagram because that's where most of the stripers live.
Mostly Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. What's like the key things that they should look for that's like what trends?
Trends like see that's tough because people could follow any trend that's popping off at a time and do it maybe slightly different or add a few more people in there and all of a sudden they're getting the same 100 200 million plus views that everybody else is getting just because they hopped on that wave.
So what's that wave? Like what would somebody do if they have a striping company? Like I'm thinking reels, right? Like
Right.
you and I know this, but like some people don't. Instagram reels.
It's a little tougher because a lot of the trends right now that are popping off are like they take dances from famous people or it's just a bunch of kids doing dances and that's the new dance trend. And so striping, with it being a little bit more niche, there's not a whole lot more trends in the industry. Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to
I get what you're saying.
follow.
Yeah, there's no striping specific trends, but like
Right.
trending audio. That's a
Trending
big
audio,
one.
that's huge.
Yeah, I think it was either you or my wife who taught me that. Like I didn't know.
Yeah,
But
no, that's massive right now.
It was Robin. Yeah, this is before you. She's like, you got to look up on Instagram when you're making reels.
Yeah.
That was her first thing. Is like, stop making videos. Like post reels. 30 seconds short. People's
Yeah.
attention is short. But she taught me how to get into the trending audio. Which for you people out there, go look up Google how to use the trending audio. That makes a difference.
Absolutely. And if you can match that with a video that fits well with that audio, that's when you're going to win.
Totally. So that was my first real experience into that because everyone wants to go viral.
Right.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So that one video on our Stripe It channel that went super viral, the puddle,
Right. Going through the puddle. Yeah.
that wasn't even you.
No.
That was me sitting around bored. Like, when did I post that? Were you here?
No.
It was before. So it must have been like May of 2023. So not long ago. I was sitting around bored at my home looking at my old photos and I found this video, 20 seconds of me striping through the puddle. If you want to go look at it, it's on the Instagram, pinned at the top. I've had that video on my phone for literally 4 years. And I used a trending audio. I can't even remember what the audio was on that video now. Now you have to go listen to it. I used a trending audio and it just like, it went off. Like
Yeah.
instantly. I think it's like millions of views now.
A couple mil for sure.
Crazy. And then Marvin on Black Dot Banner reposted it on TikTok and it went viral on there too.
Again, yeah.
Craziness. So much so he told me you got to make a video explaining about painting through puddles just to capitalize on the eyeballs, right?
Right.
Trending audio, man.
Trending audio is huge. That too, like a lot of the stripers that are going to see that are going to hate that video because you're going through a puddle.
Yep.
And they'll be like, well, it's not going to stick. And there's going to be all these people in the comments just roasting you.
It was awesome. The comments were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into the nuances of striping through puddles now. Other than if you have solvent paint, you got to try it once.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works.
Right.
In that case, it worked. Okay, let's talk equipment then. So if because I know you're a gearhead.
Yeah, I got a lot of gear.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
like it. Like,
Love it.
well, this is your life. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well have nice gear.
So if you're a striping company, you don't have like thousands of dollars to spend, or you probably don't. You can't spend like a $10,000 camera. Like what you
Right.
want. What's a good place to start though? If you want to start up in the quality wise, phone is good, but where would you look? Most of the people start looking at GoPros, but is there something else people should look at?
GoPros is definitely a good option, especially like you could hook it on to your striping machine, or
Yeah.
if you're inside like a skid steer or something, or whatever it is, GoPros are definitely a good option, especially the newer ones. The quality is getting a lot better. Same with the phones, honestly. Like if you're on a budget, a phone and a GoPro is gonna do you very well.
Yeah, fair enough. What's your opinion on gimbals?
Gimbals?
You like gimbals?
I got 3,
Oh, I had no idea you had
something
three.
like that. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of gimbals because you can buy
Yeah.
a nice one, like $150. Your phone sits right in there, and like all the like shakiness that you're used to doing with your hand,
Right.
completely gone with a gimbal.
Yeah.
You can make stuff look super cool.
Gimbals are handy.
What's your? I'm going rapid fire now.
Okay.
One thing that I learned in 2021 was messing around with frame rates.
Yep.
What's your opinion on that? What do people need to know about 24 versus 30 versus 60 versus 240?
You're right. It depends what you're using it for, I guess. I shoot. Depends on personal preference too, really. Especially 24 and 30. Most social media content is gonna be shot in 30.
Totally. That's your standard. That's your default on your phone.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Most, like, I say this loosely, cinematic
Yeah.
content is gonna be a shot in 24, like 24, 48, 96. You're gonna go up.
Is
from
that
there,
like a
but-
thing in the industry, like cinematic?
It's so loosely used nowadays.
Totally.
So but I don't know what else to say other than
But
that.
if you're a guy listening to this, you're a striper, and you don't know anything about
that's the word's gonna resonate.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like when whiskey drinkers say smooth, I want to like jump off a bridge. Stop saying, "Oh, this whiskey's so smooth." That's not a
Right.
thing. Anyways, but 24 frames, that's more like your, well, for lack of a better term, your cinematic stuff.
Exactly.
Most stuff you wouldn't shoot though if you're trying to promote your striping company. Probably not 24 frames.
I shoot everything
Well, you
pretty
do.
much in 24 frames.
Yeah. So when people go to Laser Pavement Solutions, plug, and check out like any of those reels, like
Yeah.
the snow one we just put, or this parking garage one we just put out.
Yeah.
I have to say parking garage for the States. In Canada, we call them parkades. Anyways, that's all 24 frames per second.
24, 48, and 120.
Where do you shoot 48? Oh, that's high level. I
See,
didn't
it's
know
just
this.
when I'm on site and if there's a shot that I think I want to slow down a little bit,
Yeah.
or if I have an idea for a shot, then I'll shoot in a higher frame rate, like 48, so I can slow it down
Fair
to
enough.
24, or I'll shoot 120, and so you have that really nice slow mo. Also helps somewhat, especially if you're a shaky person.
Yep.
Helps with that shakiness. Just shooting at that low or that high of a frame rate.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. What's your tips for guys out there for Instagram stories? I got my business side of things, but I'd like to know the content side first. What makes a successful Instagram story for a striping company, would you say?
That's tough because you pretty much put anything on a story, it's gonna be gone in 24 hours. Like
Correct.
literally anything.
Yep.
Especially if you put a post up that day, make sure that that's going on your story. On top of maybe you're in the office, you show a little office culture, or like literally anything you can think of that might align with your company. You should be putting it on your story.
Dude, thank you. You took what I was going to say, basically. Yeah, you got to show like what happens behind the scenes. Like,
Yeah.
even if you're just a two-man company or one-man company, show what
Right.
you're doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I used to do that with like, I used to work super late. Like, I still sometimes do, but like when you're first starting out striping, like you got a lot of estimates to do or something. Sometimes you're looking at construction drawings at like midnight. That is a perfect Instagram story. Take
Yeah.
a little like, you don't even have to be in it. Just like 12 a.m., crushing estimates, you know,
Yeah.
looking at construction drawings on my computer.
Add
All
some
that
music to it.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff's cool. Yeah, we try to do that as much as we can. Show behind the scenes.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Well, you got a pretty good. How long have we been chatting? One moment. Checking the time. I don't want to do a 1 hour.
Like 20 minutes,
Oh, that's
28
it.
minutes, something
Oh,
like that. yeah.
perfect. Okay, we're getting kicked out of here in 40 minutes, anyways.
Yeah.
Crap. Now I forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh man, Matt, what was I going to ask you? What have we not talked about?
Talk about data, kind of.
GoPro equipment.
Oh, one thing about analytics
Yeah.
people should definitely know is comparison. So if you're
Comparison.
so if you're staying on track with what you're posting every month versus month, comparing that month to the last month
Right.
is huge to see if you're on an upswing, to see if it's working, or if you should change something up, or like every single day when I come into the office, I'm looking at all the numbers that our videos are doing. what went wrong, what went right, what we can change going forward. And then I think that's a big reason why I have changed the way I work, especially in the last 5 months. Because I look at some of the videos we did when I first started.
And
I hate them.
what?
I hate them.
Bro, why?
Just on my end. My editing style, my color grading, my framing, composition, my sound design. Like, I could have done such a better job back then. And so now looking at it, like, I think I'm at a point where I'm a lot more confident in that. But I think the numbers played a big part in that as well.
Fair enough. Man, what about like we get a lot of sometimes weird comments, candid feedback.
Right.
Sometimes that's helpful. Sometimes people's feedback is good. But why are you laughing?
I gotta know where you're going with this.
Tell us about the video you just put out.
Oh my god. So my very first video, like,
He's gonna be watching this. You know that, right? Whoever this guy is.
Probably.
Anyways,
Yeah, we'll
go
make a
for it.
TikTok
I'll shut up now.
about this just for him.
Yeah.
When I first started in like 2020, 2021, like I filmed myself a little bit and I was like, I hate this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to film other people. I'll make this look a lot better.
Yeah.
And then you have been trying to get me to film myself for a while now, pretty much since I started. And I've said no every time. And then you went away for a week and I was out of work. I had nothing to post. And so I needed content. And I went and made myself a video. The very first video I've ever shot on camera, especially with this setup, this camera.
Yeah.
Thought it went okay. I mean, I'm not the best speaker on camera. And so I had a bunch of notes in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was reading off notes that I wrote. And so I definitely knew what I was talking about. But this guy did not seem happy with the way I was speaking, I guess.
It's just funny to me. Like, I know how much, like, this is your world, man. Video cameras and filming. But like you said, you don't like to be on camera.
No.
So while I'm gone, because we had no content in the chamber, you go start filming yourself, and it's the first person on TikTok who responds. I can't remember what he said, but it was basically like he whippersnappered you.
But yeah,
He's like,
I don't know anything besides the script that I'm reading.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then immediately proceeded to DM us on TikTok and say, like, I'm just trying to help. It's not-
Right, yeah.
I don't even get it. It was the
I looked on his
funniest thing.
account too, and he's got like a couple hundred followers, and he has one video, and I'm like, you want to talk to me about marketing?
Yeah,
Like,
he's a
what do you
repost
do?
video. Yeah.
It's definitely a fake account, like some dude just trying to hide behind a camera.
I
But
don't even know, like, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Well, I like to hate, honestly. We don't get a ton of it, truthfully, like in Stripe It stuff.
I respect it.
Once in a while we do, though, on YouTube. Mostly it's me. Like, they'll be like, remember that video we put out about making a $30,000 Stripe mistake with a thermoplastic?
Right,
We just set
yeah.
our guys up to fail. One guy was like, he identified that we were putting out that video about, a mistake we made, and then linked that immediately to the academy that I run. And the coaching, and he's
Right.
like I would hire some dude who makes mistakes to coach me, like, you're an idiot. Which is like, I love that stuff, man.
Yeah, you're human. People
Oh,
make
it
mistakes.
fires me up. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't even care. You're pretty in the know now with striping companies, asphalt companies. Anyone you see online in our space where you're like, their stuff's good? Because that's my go-to hack, is you just copy other people's stuff. Well, now that you're here, I don't have to do that.
Right.
But I used to look at other people's stuff and go, that's what I want my content to look like.
There's a bunch of people that I can tell have hired people.
Like who? Name names.
I can't think of.
You can't
the
think
names
of
right
them?
now.
Bust
But I
out your phone.
definitely-
Let's go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you bust out your phone.
Thank
While you bust out your phone, I'm gonna shout out random people here that if you want good content ideas, I'm gonna start with the most recent one, the one I sent you the other day. I wouldn't recommend starting with this, but go look at Royal Pavement Solutions. Kenny, my boy, I don't know if he listens to the show, but Kenny, they're a pavement company in New York. They put out ridiculously funny stuff. They recently hired 3 like young women to come dance on the job site. So while they're paving, there's one lady like dancing on top of the paver. Anything that's like, obviously don't have to go hire professional dancers or whatever, but I love content like that where people do weird stuff. Did you see the banana one he just put out?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, it looks like an official, 30-second interview clip with Dynapack at a trade show. It was at Pavex. And so it's Kenny and the guy from Dynapack just chatting about stuff. And then Kenny's like, yeah, at Royal Pavement, we go bananas for this stuff. And then he literally jumps into a banana outfit. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
That's one I think might have a videographer behind that company.
It's his sister.
Oh, okay.
It's his little sister. Yeah, I asked him that like a year ago. I'm like, your stuff's so good. How do you do it? And he's like, yeah, it's my little sister, bro.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Yeah, she's good at it.
Orca, that was kind of like my OG company that I looked up to. I'm slightly biased because Orca Asphalt Maintenance. Go look them up. Braden is like literally 6 hours south of us. He's in British Columbia, in Kelowna. But his stuff, like it's masterpiece. Like so good. As far as like, I'm going to use your term, the composition wise.
Right.
He can make the simplest, EV striping job look like a poetic masterpiece.
Yeah.
And he even told me that on the phone. He's like, I'm a marketing company that does pavement maintenance. And I was like, that's the right approach to take.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's his like ASMR basically, is like he loves sitting late at night, just editing stuff, making it look good. He taught himself Adobe and all that stuff. Okay, what do you got?
American Pavement Specialist.
Oh my gosh, do you know anything about them?
No, nothing. But it definitely looks like they've hired someone.
They know what they're doing. Now that being said, yeah, no, I'm sure they have. That's right. So remember I was telling you about Raised on Blacktop?
I'm on their page right now.
There we go. Raised on Blacktop. Yeah. So they definitely don't watch this show because they're big time. But Matt started that like basically just him with a cell phone and just shooting content of what American Pavement Specialists were doing, and it blew up. And then they started the Raised on Blacktop brand, eerily similar to what you want to do with the clothing and stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
they're big time, bro.
Sweet.
Like they're celebrities now. Yeah, their stuff's good.
Brian Hess, he definitely has someone.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know.
That guy.
Yep.
Chris
Chris?
Welch,
Oh, striping
He's-
guy.
killing it with his content.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. He's probably going to listen to this because he's a faithful dude. I love that guy. Finally, I met him in Pavix. You saw
Right.
the
Yeah,
selfie
yeah,
video?
yeah.
Or the selfie shot.
I wish I was there.
Yeah. We shot some content actually. He's going to put it out on his channel.
Yep.
So striping guy, he was on the show a few episodes ago. To me, that is the perfect example of somebody you should emulate because he is not like he is a small company. He's
Right.
relatively
And he's
new.
just doing all the videos himself too. So
All in-house. Like
Yeah.
he said he hired like one or two people part-time to help stripe, and he will just make them hold the camera or fly the drone while they're striping. And it's like, this is going to sound like I'm throwing shade at Chris, and I'm not at all. But like, if you look at the quality of it, is it Raised on Blacktop quality? No.
no.
But it's so good because he's ruthlessly consistent, provides value, and it's interesting stuff. Like people
It is
want to
interesting.
watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a really unique approach to it too.
He's more personal with it. Like you can tell who he is like through the camera, which is nice.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. I got like one more question.
Okay.
Where are you going to be in 5 years?
I hate that question and love
Why?
it at the same time. Because
Come on.
look, everything I've done in the last 5 years, I've done quite a few jobs.
Yep.
None of them until this job was actually doing what I'm doing now, besides like the side gig with my production company. But I've done so many different things that I couldn't tell you where I'm going to be next week. And honestly, I'm stoked for it. I'm stoked because I don't know if I'm going to be where I want to be. Hopefully, that'd be awesome. But if not, I mean, that's okay.
So I'm trying to fish for an answer here. Are you allowed to talk about the project you're working on?
That project.
You want to keep a lid on it? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to come out till next year.
No, that's totally fine. Yeah. But the point is, you have like some pretty high ambitions for what you want to do. Not like outside of laser and stripe it. Like you got stuff you're doing.
Yeah, I'm staying busy.
Yeah. So
Staying
what's like
very
what
busy.
5 years from now? What's it look like? You putting out like feature film movies, bro?
I
or-
got a few movie ideas. I got some stuff on the bucket list I really want to check off.
Yeah.
Like I got a music video idea that
Yeah.
I'm sitting on for like 4 or 5 months now.
Yeah.
That I'm working with an artist.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll come out sometime in this next 6-7 months. And then I got a few action sports films that I want to do.
Yep.
Some snowboarding, some biking, and then I'm actually starting to write a movie as well.
You started writing?
I started writing.
ChatGPT?
No,
I'm just joking.
writing on myself. But this is something different because out of everything I've taught myself over the last little while,
Yeah.
I've never wrote anything.
Really?
Not like this. Like little ideas and like sketching for concepts for videos that I'm filming,
Yeah.
but never a full-on movie.
Yeah.
And I sat on this idea for like 8 or 9 months, didn't tell a soul. It was a shower thought that I just had to do this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't even think I wanted to do a movie. I just thought all the projects that I wanted to do were revolved around action sports, like documentary, like edits of different action sports. And then I had this idea, and I've been sitting on it for quite a while. And I just decided I'm going to spend a bunch of my free time this year when I'm not working to write this movie.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I thought of one other thing. I don't know
What's
what
up?
you said that sparked my brain. I got one other thing to ask you, and then I'm going to pay you an awkward compliment, and then we're going to end this.
Okay.
I wanted to give you a fair warning.
Okay.
I love this. This is like a Gary Vee podcast at this point. We're just like
We're just hanging out.
randomly saying stuff.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to ask you. No, I lost it already.
Shit.
See, I shouldn't have. Now you got to edit the swear word out. No, we
Oh.
don't edit our swear words out, do we?
No.
No, I've never. I used to. I
I
don't.
think you get like one per video.
Yeah, there's always one.
Yeah.
Today it's you. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. This might be a weird question. Like, I don't care what you say.
Okay.
HR's not here. It dawned on me while we're chatting that it's likely unusual for a pavement company our size. Like, we're growing fast.
Right.
But it's kind of unusual for a company that's on the smaller side, like, lower 7 figures, to bring on somebody full time as like your official job title with Laser Pavement is creative content producer.
Right.
And a lot of people asked me like, that's weird. Or they like did not ask, but they're like that. Why would you do that? Basically.
Right.
Especially like if you're an older school company, maybe you don't value marketing as much. So I have no doubt that some people are going to listen to your wisdom thoughts here today. Good job.
Thanks.
And they're going to go like, well, I'm a striving business owner and I'm growing. I would love to have like a full-time content guy. That'd be sweet.
Right.
I mean, I can share what the process that I went through before you joined and how that all worked. What was it like from your perspective, applying for the job, interviewing for the job? Like, was it weird to you?
It's still weird to me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because I remember we interviewed quite a few people. I think you were one of the last ones actually. And yeah, we knew right away. I was like, this is the guy. But it dawned on me like throughout that interview process, I'm like, this is just a weird position to interview for.
Right.
What was it like for you?
It was.
What did you think of the interview questions? That's really what I want to get at.
I don't even really remember the interview questions.
You look
being
nervous
honest.
when you're
Well,
interviewing.
I had 2 hours of sleep.
I forgot.
You remember that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I worked till I worked till pretty late at night,
Yeah.
and then I had a couple hours of sleep, and then you wanted to do the interview at like 7 in the morning or something.
No, it wasn't 7 in the morning.
No, I'm
Get
pretty
out.
sure it was like 7.
No, there's no way.
No,
Was it
that's
that
not
early?
Yeah.
I would never
That
bring
sounds
somebody
right.
in. Maybe 8.
And I was like, I can't say no.
But
Like,
you were basically on night shift essentially.
yeah, I was on night shift.
Yeah.
And so I had like 2 hours of sleep, and I came in the interview, and I couldn't tell you a word that I said during that interview. I thought I bombed it. And so when you called me,
No.
I was surprised. And you were like, well, no, you were at the top of the list. I was like, oh, good on me. Like, I pat myself on the back, I guess. But no, it's weird. I mean, for your company, I think it makes more sense than other companies in this area because, like you said, like nobody in this area is doing this. They don't have positions like this unless you're like the university or a college or something like that, like a bigger deal. And for your company, it makes more sense, I believe, because you have Stripe It and you have Laser. And instead of paying someone to do graphic design for like little logos or flyers at the same time, at least I can take control of doing graphic design for both companies.
Yep.
And then do photos and videos for both companies. So I think it makes a little more sense for your company specifically.
Fair enough.
But
yeah.
another small operation, and it's just them, it would make more sense for one of the people already in the company to take control over that.
Totally. Yeah. It I actually wrestled with that too before you came on. I was like, maybe this isn't a full-time job. Like, that's a pretty big investment. Why don't we just make it a part-time job?
Right.
But I didn't do that because, one, I like to go all out, generally speaking.
Fair.
I like to be ambitious. But two, I was worried that, if we if we post this as a part-time only job for this marketing position and content, are we going to lose out on some quality people that, already have a full-time job and can't do a part-time job? Like in your case, you had a full-time job.
Yeah.
And we didn't know this until you officially started, but you were more than qualified to do the skills. You had the technical skills, obviously. But yeah, I didn't want to lose out on somebody part-time. But that being said, I think if you I'm going to switch to over here now. If you're out there and you know, striping company, steel coating company, and you're like, well, I'd like to have somebody do my content. Maybe they don't feel as strongly as you do about it. And they're like, I'm not going to devote my evenings to going to YouTube and learning this and learning how to edit, and,
Right.
which is totally fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can hire somebody. Yeah. Start part-time. Yeah, I don't want to get into the nuances of like the interview process and how to post a job, but when I wrote the job posting, which was assisted by ChatGPT, which it always does,
Right.
I just told it exactly like it was. It was a pretty casual job posting in the sense that, I don't know if you remember it. It was
It was a little vague.
a little vague, done on purpose. A lot of like, not playful language, but it's a little casual. Like
Yeah.
the wording in that position is drastically different than the wording for our current position for an administration person, because that's a very technical job.
Right.
The marketing person was like, you got to like memes, you got to like GIFs, you got to,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it was a little more casual. So I would just say that, yeah, post a job posting that is true to who you are as a company and the kind of vibe you're looking for.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, don't try and poach Matt Leslie. That's all I'm going to say to end this.
You're paying the right price.
Oh, man. Well,
Yeah,
see,
just
most people listening are in America, though. So they're like American dollar, US dollars.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. If you could make the, obviously, wow, I had it backwards. Yeah. If
Yeah,
you go to the
getting
States,
paid
you're
in
making way
American.
more money. Well, final thoughts?
Thanks for having me on.
Dude, you're half the thing. Like, don't say thank you to me. Oh, you're always in the room, like, you know,
Yeah.
listening. Well, not even listening. Sometimes I got the headphones on. You can't even hear.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out.
Playing Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the awkward compliment I wanted to pay you was like, holy cow. Like, I don't think you realize just how crazy. I'm going to say the word ambitious. There's a lot of ambitious people out there.
Right.
Where you started in 2020, in the COVID year, to like just now getting into 2024, and the ambitions you have about these movies and the projects you want to do. You've told me some more detail about them.
Right.
Like, I am bought in. I would invest in you in a second
Thank you.
because it is
Thank
so rare. It's not even a generation thing. You know, it's easy to say like, oh, young people aren't ambitious. It's not an age thing. It's like, it's just so rare to see somebody dialed in. And when you tell me the things you're going to do and you say with conviction,
Yeah.
like you've already proven, like in 3 years, you went from, I should start this and learn this on YouTube. Now it's your job
Yeah.
and you're doing weddings and all this other stuff after you're out. Like you're a worker, man. Good for you.
Thank you.
Holy crap. You're an
Thank you.
inspiration to me to see how hard you work.
Thank you.
But that being said, I do think you need to sleep more.
I think I need to sleep more.
Yeah.
Honestly, like it's catching up to me.
Yeah, you're going to age
Definitely.
rapidly, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't do that.
But I would just be more upset with myself if I didn't do those things. I think
Yeah.
that's just me, but
I feel the same way. Yeah.
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 Yeah, if
It's
I
got
didn't-
really serious. Here.
Like, well,
Yeah.
even if I'm so tired,
Yeah.
like from working Monday to Friday, and I go home and I go work another like 6, 7, 8 hours, and then by the weekend, that's when I have to work my project.
Yeah.
The project means more in the long run, anyways.
Yeah.
And so I'd rather work and just suffer through being tired and just get that done.
You're a beast. You're a beast, man.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, you guys know the drill. He's on. You answer on Instagram sometimes, or I think I do most of the answering.
It depends who you're looking for. Usually, most people are just looking for you. 'Cause
Yeah,
you're the face of this.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, if people are listening to this and they want like specific, like, hey, I got a question about video or whatever, just shoot us a message.
shoot us messages.
100%.
Shoot Matt Leslie Productions. a
Yeah,
message.
make sure you put that in the description.
Yeah.
Do your job. Put the
Yeah.
plug yourself
I'll
in the
be in there.
description.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys found some value from that. And if you have questions about marketing, video, content, GoPros,
Anything.
Matt Leslie Productions, importing him to work in the United States, any of those questions.
That'd be great. Absolutely.
That would be great. Shoot us a DM or email or whatever you want to do. So that's it.
Sweet.
Keep your stripes hot.
Talk to you next week.
Nailed it. That was awesome. That was awesome.